Yeah, so talking about solar installation in Nigeria, most people usually think in terms of the million, thinking they would need more than 1 million naira to have a basic solar setup in their house. But in today's video, I'm actually going to share four critical components that you would need for your solar installation that won't even spend you up to 400,000 naira. Yeah, you actually had me right. You spend less than 400,000 naira and you have the four critical components that is actually needed for your solar installation. Now, this particular setup I'm actually talking about is just a basic, solar installation for your basic home appliances like your TV, your fan, your standing fan, your ceiling fan, your bulbs, charging of your phones, and your laptop. So all these components are actually going to be needed for your solar installation. So this installation is not meant for someone that is looking to power his fridge, freezer, AC, and all that. All right. So this actually is a basic solar installation. But one of the advantage of this kind of installation is that it's actually meant for, uh, it's actually upgradable. You can actually upgrade this kind of setup. The more you have funds to, increase the capacity of the battery, the solar panel, you can always do so. All right. So this kind of setup is not actually a solar generator. We have a solar generator now that you can actually buy that will serve the same purpose as a solar installation, but the disadvantage of a solar generator is that you can't upgrade it. Once you buy it, the capacity of the battery that comes with it is what you're going to use till the end of its usage tenure. Now, this particular component, most engineers won't tell you about this because that's actually the bread and butter of solar installation, is the bread and butter of the business. That's where the money comes from. So most installers won't tell you about this, but I'm actually going to share those four components with you in today's video. And at the end of the video, I'm actually going to tell you two critical components you shouldn't compromise on in terms of price. Once you compromise on them and you get it wrong, then you're not going to enjoy your solar installation. Now, the first component you would need for this particular solar installation is a 200 watt mono solar panel. Okay, obviously the solar panel is the first and the most critical component of your solar installation. Once you don't have the solar panel, then you are no longer using a solar installation. That's just a basic inverter battery setup. Okay, so now you have to be very careful with this uh, solar panel because they have two types. We have the mono and we have the poly. Though the mono is usually much more efficient, in my own experience, much more efficient than poly. So you need to buy two pieces of 200 watts mono solar panel. As at the current price in Lagos, in Nigeria, Lagos, those living in the southwestern part of Nigeria, as at the current price now, it shouldn't cost you more than 55,000 naira, at most 60,000 naira. So that's the first component. Now, the second component you would be needing for your solar installation is your solar charge controller. Now, the solar charge controller also has two types. We have the PWM and we also have the MPPT. Now, the MPPT is the expensive version of the solar charge controller. I think the minimum you could actually get an MPPT charge controller now is 100,000 naira upward. But we are not willing to spend so much on the solar installation. So you'll have to get the PWM. The PWM is not as efficient as the MPPT, but it's actually going to get the work done. So for this particular setup, you will be needing at least 30 amps PWM charge controller. As at the current price in Lagos, you can actually get a 30 amps charge controller for, let's say, between 30,000 naira to 35,000 naira, depending on your location. That's the second component. Now, the third component you will be needing, which is also an important component, is your solar inverter. Now, talking about solar inverter, most people usually think the inverter would cost you 200,000 naira and above, but I'm actually going to share with you today that you can actually get a 2000 watt transformerless solar inverter for 60,000 naira. Yeah, you really had me right, for 60,000 naira. Now, the inverter is one of the critical components of your solar installation because it's actually going to convert the energy being stored in your battery to useful energy you can use to power your basic home appliances like your TV, fan, and bulbs and the likes. Okay, so for this particular setup, you'll be needing a 2000 watt transformerless solar inverter for just 60 to 65,000 naira, also depending on your location. Now the last but not the least component is your solar battery. Now the solar battery also have three types. We have the dry cell, we have the wet cell, and we have the lithium. Now for this particular setup, we'll be buying the dry cell. The minimum you'll be needing to power all these components I said, all these electronics I said, like your TV, your fan, your bulbs, charging of your phones and laptop, the minimum battery capacity you'll be needing is 100 amps dry cell. Now the battery you are going to buy is actually going to be a brand new one. Like I said in the earlier part of the video, that there are two critical components that you shouldn't compromise on in terms of price. Now the first one is the battery. Once you get your battery wrong, you are not ever going to enjoy your solar installation, because the battery is what stores the excess energy being produced during the day for usage at night. So once you have a bad battery, the solar panel is going to produce the electricity, but the battery won't be able to store that energy for you to be able to enjoy it at night. So you should never compromise on price in terms of buying a battery. You know, some solar dealers might tell you, oh, buy Tokunbo. Tokunbo is very strong. You know, the way they usually advertise their products, you should buy Tokunbo, this and that. I would advise you never to buy a Tokunbo battery. Always buy a brand new battery. And more so, a brand new battery usually comes with at least 1 year, 2 years warranty, depending on which dealer you're buying from. Now, the second critical component you shouldn't compromise on is your solar panel. Like I said earlier, they have two types. There's mono and there's poly. For this particular setup, you should buy two pieces of 200 watt mono solar panel, and you should also buy that brand new. Once your solar panel is also broken, the sun will shine, but the solar panel won't produce electricity that will be stored in the battery to use later in the day or probably later at night. So you should never compromise on price buying solar panel. Same way they will advertise the battery for you, they will ask you to buy Tokunbo solar panel because it's way cheaper than the brand new. They will tell you it's the same thing, it's strong, it's Canadian panel and all that. Always buy brand new. For the other ones, you can still buy Tokunbo, the solar charge controller or the solar inverter. You can always buy Tokunbo and you can still, have your way around it. But once you make a mistake with your solar panel and your solar battery, then you are not going to enjoy your solar installation. So now all these components I've mentioned, if you do your math, you will understand that you won't be spending up to 400,000 naira. Obviously, that's not all the components you'll be needing for your solar installation. Like you'll still be needing your cable, wiring, sockets, plugs and all that. Those are very very simple electrical components you can actually get within your vicinity. Now, if you guys want me to do a detailed video of the type of components that you'll be needing, the brand type, where you can actually get them from, and how much you'll be buying each of them, you can comment part 2 in the comment section below so I can do a second video, sharing out all these details. So be good, stay safe.